kind of the only question mark on the defense is who's going to be that opposite corner. Maybe Dalen Everett, maybe Nyland Green. There's someone else, maybe who they've been hyping up recently. Humphrey. I'm blanking on his first name. Number 12. He was the one that was the Florida commit that flipped to Georgia.
What about Smoke Bouye?
I did see him out there, but I mean, I'm not sure what impact he had. I didn't get a good look at him or anything.
Okay, there you go. The Tennessee side of things, Matt Green. I know you said you were watching it. You had a bookmark, so you joke about ESPN Plus for the network game, but people were dialed in, and it wasn't just you.
I think it was on Jefferson Pilot. I'm not sure.
Aaron Murray out here saying Joe Milton is the most talented quarterback in the country. Damn good dog out here hyping up Joe Milton over Carson Beck or Brock Vandegrift. Like, it was an interesting time this week on the Twitter sphere and keeping up with who's saying what, Matt Green. But watching the game,
say Joe Milton's definitely more physically gifted than those guys. I think everyone would agree with that.
Milton was fine. He had some hits and he had some misses. Nico flashed. He had the throw of the day. I don't know if you saw it to Ethan Davis down the right-hand side. He navigated the pocket, went on, like, it was just a 5-star throw. Like, he rolled out, and it was just, he dropped it in a butt. Like, it's just such a horror. Like, dude just can't make that throw. It's one of those over the shoulder. The placement had to be perfect, 20 yards down the field, on the right-hand side of the field. It was just, it was disgusting, like, that kind of throw. So, that's what you're getting, potentially, is a guy like that. It's the Bryce Youngs of the world, the Arches, those kind of prospects. It doesn't mean they're all going to put it together. It doesn't mean they're going to be exactly what they could be, but the flashes are there because this is what they are. They're coming in with like these little things. You're like, oh, right, that's why this person's a 5-star. Now, can they put it all together? Can they do that over and over again, this, that, and the other? Because like Joe is a very, very talented, physically gifted player, but like, and more than Hendon Hooker. But Hendon Hooker had the tape study. He had the leadership qualities. He had the escapability in the pocket, knowing when to get out of the pocket, knowing the offense in and out. Joe, he had to make up for some of the other stuff. He didn't have the deep ball Joe had, but his deep ball was pretty. His deep ball was where it needed to be most times. Like, he was good enough.
I get a lot of Jamarcus Russell vibes from Joe Milton.
He's not really Jamarcus.
And that's not to say negatively about Jamarcus Russell's, like, quote, whatever character issues he may have, but just like as a player. Like that, just an absolute cannon and like some mobility, but he doesn't really want to run.
No, and I think we saw it a little bit in this game. He's lost some weight to maybe make him do it more, but I don't think that's how he's wired. Hendon was wired to dart when things were going awry in the pocket.
Way more than he should have been, honestly, with like the way he's built. Like he's what is he, like 6'3", 6'4"? Like he's like, his height and weight, like he's a big guy, but he's very lean. Like he's looks pretty skinny, and he would just lower the shoulder on people. Like some questionable decisions at times.
Well, Joe doesn't really
bad
do
respect.
that. And a lot of receivers, like there were so many guys out. It was just like Chaz Nimrod and Caleb Webb out there. Ethan Davis, the Collins Hill product, flashed. True freshman, 4-star tight end. But then he proceeded to break his collarbone in the game, so he's out for a month. Tennessee is just so thin at the tight end spot. They've got 3 guys that will be playing. Defense, they rotated a bunch. Running backs, they're going to be loaded. Like Cam Seldon, the true freshman, he's got just superstar written all over him. He's just a 4-star running back out of Virginia who was in a super small school. A lot of people didn't know about him, and Tennessee was an early eval win on him, but he had this run at the middle where I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna play, because he's like they don't know what to do with him yet. Like, is he a receiver? Is he a running back? The Kadarius Toney, Percy Harvin type guys with this group. So I'm excited to see what he is. Cordero Patterson is
lofty comparisons right there.
Well, people want Cordero. Like, that's the common one here in Tennessee because it's just that kind of player. But we'll see if he matches up to it. But again, true freshman, but he's gonna be good. The offensive line, like, they haven't gotten the right tackle spot settled. Left tackle, it's hopefully gonna be the transfer from Miami, John Campbell. But if the tackles are bad, and you don't have Darnell Wright on the right hand side, and The left tackle spot is not solidified, and Joe is not the maneuver in the pocket connoisseur like Hendon is. If things do break down, I'm just concerned that it's going to be bumpy. I think the offense is going to be worse. I'm not going to say that it's going to be bad because I think it's impossible with Josh Heupel's scheme to be bad, but I do think it's going to be a step back, and I think it's going to be a far more frustrating year for Tennessee until we get to the Nico year. So when people are like they're a playoff sleeper or 8 to 9 wins is the FPI, like the 12th best team in the country, I'm not really there. I think there's going to be a change at quarterback. I don't believe that Joe's going to make it through the full year here. I think the pressure's going to be high. Nico's going to be there. You saw the flashes. The fans are going to be tough when they struggle at home, and we'll see what it looks like early. But if Joe drops the Florida game on the road to this Florida team, and then you're on the ropes or you're going back and forth against UTSA at home the following week, I mean, it's going to get interesting in a hurry. I don't think it's going to be like the year last year where Tennessee was right there. They control their own destiny to make the college football playoff in late November. I have a hard time believing that's going to be the case, and I think the offensive line's worse. I think you lost a lot of NFL talent with Cedric Tillman, Darnell Wright, Byron Young, just Hendon Hooker, just name after name, Jalen Hyatt. I think the receivers will be fine. I think they'll still be really good. I think the running backs will be better than they were a year ago. I think the offensive line takes a step back. I think quarterback takes a step back. And that's just it's just not a playoff team. I don't think this is a playoff team, and I think the defense will be better. Like, I think that's the big thing, is the defense has to take a step. You have a lot of, like, this last class was just defense, and you got to see some progress on that front. But we'll see. But my gut is just, hey, beat Georgia at home, and let's start the party early with Nico under center our freshman year. I don't know. Everyone wants Joe Milton to work out. I just don't believe it.
I think that honestly might be a blessing in disguise if they went like 8-4, 9-3. That's like, let's bring the expectations back down a little bit. Like, we're back to being good. Like, we're not trying to just like win national championships now. That's not where we're at yet. But honestly, I think anything like 8-4 or better that included a win over Georgia, I think is a success.
Yeah, it's just don't lose to Florida. If you
it's
lose
like a
to
9-3 with that marquee win, feels great, because that's all it comes down to, really. It's like it's the big games. Like, if a season can just feel a whole lot better when you go undefeated against your rivals or something like that. Like it, or a lot of Mark Richt seasons where you're like, yeah, we went 10-3, but we lost to like the three most important games to the teams we cared the most about beating. So, we'll see what happens.
There you go. Matt Green, the Big 12 revisited as we move on in our conference series. We're out of the Big 10 and the SEC, the Power 2. So they deserve their own two different sides of the division here. When we go to the ACC, the Big 12, the Pac-12.
It's still Power 5. Still Power 5 to me.
It's not. It's the Power 2. And
telling me Cincinnati and UCF and BYU, this isn't and who am I for? Houston? Yeah. Saying that's not a Power 5 conference, sir? Put some respect on the Big 12. Well, TCU just beat that team that came out of the Big 10.
Yes, they did, Matt Green. But those two, the top four again, like, no one's talking about that. The top four expected: Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. Like, that's basically what it was last year, right? We ended last year saying the four best teams were probably those four. Like, probably the best four.
How is TCU not one of the four best teams last year?
We don't have to relitigate this. I'm not doing it.
They beat Michigan.
I'm saying you play the game 100 times. Healthy Blake Corum.
And they might win 51 times. Who knows?
Maybe. The Big 12, though, Matt Green. Who overachieved the most? Is it the obvious TCU, or do you have another team in your mind here?
I wanted to get cheeky here, but